right? So when you're dealing with that, you're just dealing with that for a short period of time. It's like you're just trying to get 1,000 of those so that you can take that and be able to move to the next phase. So the first phase is what? Movement, right? So we all got that down. How our swing works, where our head should be, all that stuff, right? Then we got a plan. So when you get in the cage, what's your plan? Most of the time we get in the cage, our plan is to work on our what? Movement. But that's not what we're in the cage for during that time, right? You see how all of a sudden we just flipped two things that didn't need to be at that place in that time? So your plan. My plan is I'm going to get in here and I'm looking for a ball in one of three areas. Middle, in, or out. And I want to put a good swing on it. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. And also within that becomes the biggest thing, which is decision making. The guy that's next in line should watch you and say, hey, out of the 6 swings you took, only 2 of them was a good swing decision. Now that helps you where you're like, man, I didn't swing good. You swung at 2 bad pitches or 2 good pitches. Does that make sense? So now we got approach, or we got the plan. Now becomes how do you approach the plan you just came up with, right? Now, everything I'm giving you now, you're gonna have to do as an adult in life, right? I wanna get out of debt. As soon as you become adult, you get into debt. I'm sorry. So how are you gonna get out of that debt? Now that becomes your approach. I'm not gonna eat out as much, I'm gonna do this. So now, when I come in, right, and I'm going to my approach is, you know what? Since this is what I'm focusing on, the ball away, I'm going to approach where I'm not going to swing at anything that's close to me until I have to. I am going to my own hurt. And this is why I'm going to tell you this. From now on, when you see guys at the Major League level, and you go, dang, you should have swung at that pitch, it'll make you think differently. Because every time you step on the field, you're getting judged. The higher up you go, you get judged by everybody. Everybody has a decision about how you play. Does that make sense? So remember, before you open up, you can't bunt. Remember, you're going to be judged the same way. And what I mean to your own hurt is like all of a sudden, you're sitting there, everybody in the game knows that he's going to throw a fastball, but you've committed to hit the breaking ball, and he throws a fastball down the middle, and this is where maturity comes in. It's like you take that pitch, strike 3, you go, I stuck with my plan. Walk back. Now, who knows that you have that approach and that plan? You and your hitting coach. Does the rest of the team know? No. You see what I'm saying? Because all you young men, I'm telling you, one day you're going to have to lead a household. But first, you got to lead yourself. And you're going to have to make decisions that might not seem like the right decisions according to your friends who run in their own household. You still got to stick with your guns. We going this way until I see fit to change the plan. Does that make sense? So life and sports is parallel. So what am I saying? As we talked about last week, have your moment, succeed or fail or learn your lesson, and then do what? Move on to the next one. If we can have approaches like dogs have, it'll be great. You know what dogs live in? They live in the moment. And then they move on. Next moment, next moment, next moment. We get stuck in the past. He calls strike 3, and I ain't gonna never let that go. Guess what? You're not. You're gonna take it out to defense. Now you become dangerous. You guys understand it? So your movement, you work on outside the cage. Right? When you get in, now you're working on plan and approach. So if this is it, then I want to make sure my timing, I want to hit balls out front. So what happens is you become responsible for unlocking your potential according to what you feel and what we see as coaches. You guys get what I'm saying? So if I say it 3 times, that means what, fellas and ladies? That means it's important. So if you say it 3 times, that means you think it's what? Important, and you agree with me because we all on the same page. Okay? So, the first thing we talked about was what? One more time? One more time? One more time? You guys said it 3 times, that means what? You really mean it, right? That's what G-Eazy said. Think about that song. Okay, second thing we talked about too was what? So the second one was? It was. Now, once you have your plan, establish your plan, then you get to move to what? Approach. One more time. Last time for the group is what?
Approach.
Now, after that, it comes down to the last thing, which is E, which is execute. Did I execute it? Yes or no? Move on. Right? But we get caught up in that wasn't a ball, or that wasn't a strike. Guess what? You're never going to agree with an umpire. Sorry. He can call the ball right down the middle. I still didn't see that as a strike. Why? Because you didn't swing at it. And that has a lot to do with maybe you wasn't ready. So you guys see what I'm saying? So the biggest thing and the last thing is guys or players want to know, what do I need to do to hit? Your question should be, what perspective / how should I think in order to succeed at hitting? You see the same thing? One is all about works, right? If I swing 1,000 times, I'll become a good hitter. No, you won't. You'll get good at swinging 1,000 times, but was there an approach? Was there a plan? Was there good decisions? Yes or no? See? So it's like how you see things based upon how you think opens up your perspective and broadens how you see. Does that make sense? So I'm going to tell you this. This is my charge to you. So if a coach talks to you about something, you should be like, so how should I think? How should I see it? Right? Because if we see things, we can go after and accomplish it. Does that make sense? And if you just say, no, I don't know. Everybody gets held accountable. I'm accountable for what I say to you, just like your coaches are accountable. Nobody gets a free pass. Or else don't stand in front of kids and not accept the responsibility of speaking life into their lives. You understand what I'm saying? You guys are the next generation. Coaches like me want to win with you. So we want you to get the best information. So lastly, how do you determine if a guy is a really good ball player? Is it because he's playing against people that aren't as good as him and he's standing out? Or is he standing out amongst a group of really good ball players? I want to be that guy. I want to be like, man, he played in a tough league. Everybody was good and he stood out. Okay, he can hit. He earned what he got. You guys get that? You guys feel my energy? I told you I've been sitting on stuff. I just give it to you. I pour it out. Gotta let it go. You guys got that? Who's the future leaders of today, which is tomorrow? Raise your hand. Who's the future leader? Who's the future leader? Man, you better raise your hand high. With that comes one huge word that I want you guys to hold for the rest of your life. Becomes accountable. You're accountable for everything you say, you do, and more importantly, what you think. And what you think when nobody's around determines how successful you'll be in life. You understand that? If you think I'm not telling you the truth, ask your parents. I'll wait.